There's a big accident on the turnpike, so we're gonna have to take an alternate route. It is Friday, August 10th, 2018, and today we're going back to Key West because it is once again Lobsterfest. You might say, Key West again? But believe it or not, there are a bunch of things in Key West we haven't done yet. You'll see. No tiki bar yet at the Postcard Inn, since it got blown over by Hurricane Irma. So anyways, the idea is to see some of the stuff we haven't seen yet and revisit some of our all-time favorites. Sunshine Key here looks like it is almost ready for the high season. Yeah, that one suffered pretty heavy damage from the hurricane too. Well, here we are, Boyd's Campground on Stock Island. Well, this is our site here. It's horribly hot. But anyways, greetings from paradise. It looks like there is some activity here at nearby Boca Chica Naval Air Station. Very cool to see it. It is almost like an air show and I love planes. Although, I probably shouldn't be flying the drone today, just in case. By the way, where we are here, Stock Island, is the key just before Key West. So we could almost walk over there if we really wanted to. But it is hot and muggy, and luckily now they have Uber and Lyft here in Key West, so we're probably gonna do that, especially after an IPA. The campground full of iguanas. We're gonna take a lift down to Key West because we don't really feel like driving and we might consume a couple of adult beverages along the way, so that's what we're doing. And it looks like we have a new welcome sign in Key West. Our Uber driver, Key West native, super friendly. She seems to know everybody out on the street. Now crossing Duval Street, and here we are, First Flight Brewery. It was here that the now defunct Pan American Airlines began operations in 1927 as a seaplane service to Havana. Scallops and the hummus. Well, we just had some appetizers here at the First Flight Island Restaurant and Brewery, and this happens to be, and they should trim this tree, but this is the birthplace of Pan American Airlines. And I just did a live video from here, by the way, very cool to get your interaction. And now we're gonna go to Duval Street, see what's going on, because, we're in Key West. By the way, this is the southernmost microbrewery. Very cool. This is historic Captain George Carey's house, dating back to 1834. Oh yeah, it's the second oldest house in Key West. It's for sale if you guys want to buy it. I'm sure they're asking. It's a deal. I'm sure it's a deal.
Big smile.
And Key West is of course famous for its unusual, peculiar apparel. Well, we haven't been to Sloppy Joe's in quite a while, so let's check it out. And by the way, there is live music here everywhere. Here we are, Sloppy Joe's.
I saw him live 2 years ago, and women are still throwing panties at him, okay?
Tom Jones, you still got it going on.
I'm sorry to say it, but it is one of the worst mojitos we've had in a while, and I even think the plastic cup is supposed to be a collectible. I'm sorry, but I tell it like it is. Maybe it's that Pilar rum they're using, I don't know. Also, not very crowded for a Friday night. In fact, this is the first time we've ever been able to sit at the bar.
We hope they never score, 'cause the Browns will have moved to Baltimore. Well, I'll hit teenage brown-eyed girls, do anything we say, brown-eyed girls.
That was a lot of fun. Just one thing, they gotta work on their mojito. But otherwise, it was great.
Jam already made, smoky side.
Next stop, Mallory Square for sunset, but we might make a quick stop at El Mesón de Pepe first. Talking about places we've never visited, there's the former customs office, which used to have a huge sculpture up front. Not anymore. The Shipwreck Museum Tower and the aquarium, of course. We'll visit those one of these days. Hello there. Don't be afraid. As we approach El Mesón de Pepe, we bump into Mark Schultz and his wife, and they own the Sweet Dreams Inn here in Key West. It is a boutique guest house, and I look forward to visiting one of these days. Here we are, El Mesón de Pepe. We couldn't get a seat at the bar, so we just took 2 mojitos to go and came to Mallory Square here to witness the sunset. There's the local mermaid and live music.
I watch lovers kiss in families hug, and kind-hearted people dropping tips in the musician's jug. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
There's a cool invention, a floating tiki bar. That is something we gotta do the next time we come as well. And if you've been following me, you know we come at least once a year, so stay tuned for that. It is kind of strange, a little bit of an eerie sunset. It's kind of foggy, I guess. Yeah, Key West sunsets seldom disappoint, and this one is different because the sun is not very bright. I guess because there's a little fog or humidity in the atmosphere. That in front of us is the very aptly named Sunset Key, because the sun usually sets right behind it. Well, that was a unique sunset here in Key West. By the way, they're all different, but this one was particularly interesting because the sun wasn't very bright. I guess there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. Here's a curious shipwreck named Mary. As night falls, we are making our way back to Duval Street. Ooh, a winery in Key West. Tropical wines. Key West first legal rum distillery. Let's check it out. Yep, let's do a tasting.
Hi guys, welcome. Have you been in the distillery before?
So we got this rum called the Bad Bitch. Oh, by the way, check it out. That's where they make the rum. Here, pretty cool. And this one has a particular flavor because when they were aging it, Hurricane Irma came in and because of the heat or something like that, it got a special caramelized flavor. So we're gonna taste it. Well, yeah, this is the competition. Maybe we'll come here tomorrow. Maybe. We're gonna have dinner here at B.O.'s Fish Wagon. Ooh, so hot. Well, B.O. Fish Wagon, I've been meaning to come here since at least a couple of years ago, and the sandwich, it doesn't look like much when you get it, but it was delicious. It looks like Pepe's lost its original sign during the hurricane, and they haven't replaced it yet. By the way, great mojitos here with a great local vibe. Although, not today. Like almost everywhere else, business seems to be slow. Anyways, good night. And good morning from Boyd's Campground.
A friendly iguana here.
Ooh, it's a swimming iguana. I have seen many iguanas in my time, but never seen one swimming.
And now it's raining.
Gotta love that unpredictable South Florida summer weather.
You like it here, don't you? Yeah, that's our neighbor, the iguana. We're here at Boyd's. Right outside our door.
It's stopped raining, so let's get down to
Key West, Key West, Key West, Key West, Key West, Key West, Key West.
I think we are perhaps too early. The street fair doesn't officially open until noon.
Well, good morning. Greetings once again from Key West, and this is Lobsterfest. It rained a little bit this morning. That's probably why it's still early for Lobsterfest. So let's go to Margaritaville instead.
We can always have breakfast or brunch or early lunch here at Jimmy Buffett's place. Some people have mimosas for brunch. We have IPAs. And the crab asiago dip. Yum. Yeah, they make you walk a long way to the restrooms. They even have mile markers.
Well, now that we had breakfast at Margaritaville, let's go see the lighthouse. We've never been there. And this is starting to get actually a little busier now.
The San Carlos here is a very important building in Cuban history. It is where the Cuban exiles back in the 1870s planned the campaign of independence from Spain. We might visit later.
Okay, this is different.
Here's the Green Parrot, which dates back to 1890. I'm telling you, sometimes I think Key West has always been a party town. There's an old wooden church, the Cornish Memorial Zion Church. One of these days we are also going to take the conch train, but not today. I love those old Toyota-based Class C motorhomes. A Winnebago Warrior, perhaps? What is this place? I had never seen it before, although apparently it is a very historic neighborhood here. You see, Key West always has surprises, even after all these years. There is Hemingway's house, of course, but we've been there, done that. Actually, we're going a little further down the street to the Key West Lighthouse.
The Key West Lighthouse.
Here they have the Fresnel lenses, very cool. And even cooler, all these chickens out here. And there's the lighthouse. We've never actually been here before. And it is a long way up.
Well, this was one of the few places we had left here in Key West I hadn't seen, so this is really cool. This is as high as we can go. Yeah. All right.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god!
From the narrow balcony at the top, we get a commanding view of the island of Key West.
Let's go this way. I can almost see Cuba. Almost.
There's Whitehead Spit, which, if you look at the map, it happens to be the actual southernmost point in Key West. Everything looks kind of different from up here. Down there, it's Hemingway's house, and in the distance, Mount Trashmore, a former landfill and the highest point in the Florida Keys.
It doesn't say anything, but it might not be safe. Let's go back down. It's very nice up here. Maybe a little bit of a stretch for $10, you know, but we're in Key West. Hello there. You don't say much, do you? Well, we made it. It's incredibly hot here in Key West. Not only hot, but incredibly humid, so you sweat a lot.
There is, of course, a museum.
Lighthouse Keeper Parlor.
I'll let you in on a little secret. We came in as much for the history as for the air conditioner. Wow, does it feel nice in here. And there are Fresnel lenses.
Ibis bird.
Let's continue our exploration of Key West.
It's a road trek. The 190 Poplar.
Here we are leisurely walking on Whitehead Street. There's the Monroe County Courthouse. Mile marker 0 of US 1 should be close by. And here we are, at the beginning and the end. The Alpha or the Omega, depending which way you're going. Hopefully soon I'll be able to show you the other end, up in Maine. The street fair here, much more animated now that it is later and the weather is holding up. Key West's oldest house has opened up its backyard for people to come and sit down, but I guess not many people know about it. And besides, it is too hot to be sitting in the sun anyways.
And this is the oldest house, I'm assuming, over there.
This time around, prices seem slightly higher than in previous years, and the lines are equally long, and the Florida lobster looks delicious. And there is, of course, live music.
I'm running down the road trying to loosen my load. World of trouble on my mind. Looking for a lover who won't blow my cover. She's so hard to find. Take it easy. Hold your speed. It's gonna save me.
There's Wet Willie's and the smallest bar. Bachelorette party, perhaps?
We came to Wet Willie's.
The hot weather calls for a refreshing frozen drink. And here we bumped into Katrina, viewer of the channel, and also Nelson and his wife. Always makes my day to meet people on the street who watch my videos. The Lobster Roll Challenge. We did that the last time we were here. It is a Maine lobster roll versus a Florida lobster roll. By the way, two totally different animals. Let's begin with the cheapest option here, which is the half lobster tail on a stick for $10. Next, we're having the $24 platter with an extra tail for $16 for a grand total of $40. Really delicious and cooked to perfection. Last but not least, Willie T's Full Tail Dinner for $26. It looks great on top of the grill, but the final product? A little overcooked and not the greatest flavor. Remember I mentioned the San Carlos earlier? Well, it is open now, so let's check it out. They have old magazines and the stamp exhibition, even old Cuban money from the 1950s. Lots of memorabilia. It was here, in Key West, that Cuba's greatest hero, José Marti, planned the War of Independence from Spain, which began in 1895. He also went to Ybor City in Tampa. Unfortunately, he was a leader and a writer, but not a fighter, and got killed pretty much in the first battle of the war. They have some pretty rare photos of him. Also rare, a phone book from 1958, and guess what I found? My childhood home address and phone number, under my dad's name. That's super cool. Well, let's go upstairs, since we're here. By the way, I don't think they have air conditioning in here. There, all the presidents of Cuba before the Castros. A raft used to flee the island, probably from the mid-90s. And an old typewriter. Presumably Marti's library. There is AC, but it doesn't look like it's working very well. Anyways, after this pause, let's continue exploring Key West.
The San Carlos was a nice break. The verdict, the first lobster was too small. The third lobster was too hard. The second lobster was fantastic. Well, this here is the line to take a picture with southernmost point in the continental United States. Right there. Oh yeah, we're not gonna do it today. Been there, done that. It's a cool thing if you're here, but there's always a line. Southernmost house.
Of course, we've been here many times, but next we are walking towards an area of Key West that either we've never been to or it's been a long time.
There's an oldie. Another Toyota. It's either a Dolphin or a Brave.
Could be a Mini or a Warrior as well.
And here's a little playita. This area of Key West we've actually never explored before. This is pretty cool. It's the dog beach. Look at the pelican. Fly, pelican. Oh, he flew. Almost.
Key West here definitely not known for its white sandy beaches. That's for sure.
Casa Marina.
This Casa Marina, very big and ritzy beachfront resort. And here we have Hicks Beach. There's some hurricane damage still visible in this area. These red brick ruins here are the West Martello Tower, which unfortunately is closed by now. It is what remains of a 19th century fort, and the grounds inside are supposed to be really pretty. Here's the site of a recently discovered slave cemetery dating back to 1860.
African cemetery.
They actually discovered it by using an underground radar. Here's also an AIDS memorial dedicated to the lives touched by AIDS. And there's also this long pier, let's check it out. Towards this area to the east, there's a bunch of hotels and condominiums. Pretty cool. There's a bunch of people fishing. There seems to be like a jet ski tour, and that looks like it could be a lot of fun. There are a couple of gentlemen here from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission inspecting the lobsters some of the people are catching, but I don't feel comfortable filming them, so no video. You know, bothering the local wildlife here can be a lot of fun, but we are totally exhausted. We've walked many miles today, 6.5 according to my Fitbit. So let's go back to the campground and rest, because tomorrow we are going snorkeling. And I was totally kidding about bothering the local wildlife. I don't do that. Shortly after returning to the campground, we get a surprise visit by some viewers from Germany. They're staying a couple of sites over.
Well, here we are back at the campground. It rained quite a bit. I think we're gonna see the sunset from here. Very pretty.
There was supposed to be a meteor shower tonight, the Perseid, but all we got to see was some lightning, and then it got cloudy. Well, good morning. It is warm and muggy as we await the sunrise. Check out the tethered blimp. That cannot possibly be the one in Kodja, although it looks exactly the same. This one is much more closer, I think. Alright, let's go to...
Key West, Cayo Hueso, Key West, Cayo Hueso, Key West, Cayo Hueso, Key West, Cayo Hueso, Cayo Hueso, Cayo Hueso, Cayo Hueso, Cayo Hueso, Key West, Cayo Hueso.
Today we are going to Fort Zachary Taylor State Park. Not for the fort itself, but I've been itching to do some snorkeling, so that's why we're here. And here we are. Fun fact, if you look it up in a map, this is actually the southernmost beach in the island of Key West. And there is a cruise ship coming over the horizon, proof that the earth is not flat. This is also probably the best natural beach here in Key West, which, as I mentioned earlier, is not known for its white sandy beaches. So this is pretty much as good as it gets, right here, where the Atlantic meets the Gulf of Mexico. Let's go snorkeling around these rock formations. Well, I'm having a great time here in the salty water. It is, as you can see, not a very sandy beach, so water shoes are pretty much required. Still very enjoyable. I guess this area belongs to the Naval Air Station, and the no trespassing sign, it goes both ways. This looks like another nice area to snorkel. Just watch out for the birds, I guess. Unfortunately, it is getting a little murky. Still, lots of fish. There comes the big boat. It is the majesty of the seas. About 26 years old, but still very majestic. How about an IPA here at the Cayo Hueso Cafe? Cayo Hueso, by the way, means Bone Key in Spanish, the name of the island when all this used to belong to Spain. 105 miles to Havana. Oh, right there. Overall, very nice state park. Lots of picnic tables and lounge chairs for rent. And I believe it is the first state park that I've been to where they not only allow but sell alcoholic beverages. But then again, you're in Key West. Boy, am I glad we came early. It is getting really crowded now. By the way, there is RV parking if you want to spend the day here, just no overnight. Look at the line of cars coming in now. We're gonna go back to the RV, take a break, shower, and then come back for lunch. Look at it, La Pension. We stayed there once, many years ago. A group of young people arrived this morning with all these green tents. It almost looks like a refugee camp. We enjoy the nearly empty pool, and the local wildlife, and a bunch of people have recommended El Siboney, so let's check it out. Cuban bread, and a sunset ale to begin. Illy got the sangria, and I got the lechon, pork roast, and the fried pork chunks, which is my favorite.
Okay, El Siboney, and this place came highly recommended by several people, and I mean it's fine. It's hard to mess up lechon or fried pork chunks. It's fine. It wasn't bad, but I mean they have more cameras in there per square foot than a Las Vegas casino, and the employees seemed so miserable, and it's kind of out of the way in this neighborhood here. So, I mean, if you have to have your lechon fix, by all means, come here. But it's fine. It's not great. It's just fine. That's my opinion. Well, we're walking towards Duval Street along this very non-touristy neighborhood here.
Never-ending conundrum. Why did the chicken cross the road? Is that the Denny's where Eric Jacobs ate when he was here? This time around I've seen many of these signs. Troubling. A refreshing sangria, perhaps, on this hot day? Of course. Cool bar, by the way. Art to Go. It is kind of like a mobile art gallery. Pretty cool. There is definitely an economic downturn here in the Conch Republic.
No, not bad.
Here's, once again, the oldest house.
Oldest house in South Florida.
It's been kind of quiet today, but it is a Sunday, and I don't think we've ever spent a Sunday here before. We're making our way to Mallory Square, slowly, no rush, although I don't think we're going to wait for the sunset today. Anyways, as we wind down our weekend escapade here, we visited some new places, did something new, snorkeled, and of course, visited some of our old favorites. And that was the plan from the beginning. By the way, for years I had a recurring dream with this building, and I didn't know where it was until I came back to Key West. These ruins here, they look very historic, but I have no idea what they are. There's the Sunset Pier, which was destroyed by Hurricane Irma, and it hasn't been rebuilt yet. And there's a nice balcony to see the sunset from. Sunset coming soon.
Well, greetings from Mallory Square. This is not quite the conclusion, but some conclusions that I've gotten from this trip. Lobsterfest wasn't as great this year as in years past, or the one time I saw it in the past. Prices for everything in Key West seem to have at least increased by 50%. And maybe it's a Hurricane Irma. I mean, a lot of places, not a lot, but many places out of business, for sale, that were thriving businesses before. So I'm sure Hurricane Irma has something to blame for that. I mean, Key West is still its charming self, but yeah, it's become a little more expensive in the past couple of years. Anyways, sunset is coming up soon here. We've got some street performance here in Mallory Square. And by the way, it's August. It's incredibly hot out here. But yeah, we've had a great time as always.
Whoa, I get dizzy just looking at that bird. Mallory Square today, a kind of different vibe compared to Friday. And we have a street performer here.
You can do it.
Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Look, you guys, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to give you a gift. Take it with you. I turned 72 this year. Don't ever stop doing what you love to do. I want to dedicate the rest of tonight's show to Ryan Barnett, my chiropractor. Back up just a teeny bit, man. There you go. There you go. Here we go. Hold it, hold it. Hey!
Let's head back to Boyd's campground. I'm going to show you the sunset from there. Time to go. By the way, if you haven't, make sure to check out my Key West playlist on YouTube for many more videos of the Conch Republic. As always, thank you so much for watching and see you on the road.